Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Wanted to make a video for you and show you what I got for my birthday. It was, last Sunday on the 13th, and I turned 24 again for the second decade in a row. And my family treated me well. We got some books that they gave me for my birthday, and my daughter got me a Hot Wheel for my birthday, and my wife got me this nice Kansas City jersey with Salvador Perez on the back side of it. And it was just an all-around good day, and I just wanted to share with you what I got. Now, there are quite a few books in this pile, so I'm gonna try to go fairly quickly so that this doesn't last a couple hours. I know I have a date with my daughter to go finish off a book that we're reading. She's finishing off one right now that we had bought, and I told her, give me a minute to make a video and then we'll go finish the other book that we'd been reading in the evenings. We were pretty close, and we'd been looking forward to doing that, and I had not been the best at reading right before bed this week because I had just a lot of stuff going on with school where I was not at home early enough. So anyway, again, wanted to share with you what I got for my birthday. So let's go ahead and get this started. So I'll start with the Hot Wheel because it's the one that's sitting right on top of the pile. So my daughter got me this hot rod that's shaped like a money clip. I thought that was kind of neat. I usually get, classic cars that, like Ford Mustangs or Chevy Corvettes and, stuff like that. But she tends to find these real fun Hot Wheels for me that she thinks I'll like. So thank you to my daughter for that. We'll put that right there. All right, so on top of the stack here is a couple of books that I actually got in the mail from my good friend Brian over at Brian MR. And, we Voxer back and forth pretty much on a daily basis, pretty good friends with him, and we're always chit-chatting. And obviously he's better at remembering birthdays than I am because, he sent me one and said, hey, expect some stuff in the mail. I got you a little something because if I remember right, your birthday's coming up. And so, he sent these to me, so I wanted to show you what he got me. He got me, it's a 2-volume set called Light Bulb Moments in Human History. And the first volume is From Cave to Colosseum. And he said these are kind of fun reads. It's got some short chapters in it, just real quick dip in and out of type things. And I haven't had a chance to get into it, but it looks like I probably will laugh a little bit at this. So that was the first volume. And the second volume is From Peasants to Periwigs. Is that how you say that? Oh yeah, and by the way, these are by Scott Edwin Williams. And so there is my two volumes from Brian. Thank you so much, Brian. I love history, and again, I like to laugh a little bit. So I think some of these are probably going to get me laughing a little bit. So thank you for that, and I can't wait to jump right into that. So another book that I got in the mail. This one's from my wife. She had pre-ordered this for me. It's the new John Grisham. So I got this on Tuesday when it came out. And it is Framed, Astonishing True Stories of Wrongful Convictions by John Grisham and Jim McCloskey. And I'm looking forward to, getting into that. A lot of John Grisham's stuff is, guys who've been put behind bars and put on death row. He's got several books about that. And so I'm really looking forward to reading that. This is a work of nonfiction. So Grisham, as you guys know, usually writes basically, I think all but one of his books have been fiction. So now he's got 2 nonfictions to his credit. And this is, his typical book, 346 pages. So, that's usually what his books come in at, is right around 350. So there is that one. Looking forward to that. And again, that's, dealing with wrongful convictions, just like the title said. A couple of magazines that came in the mail recently. I'll just go ahead and show those, not necessarily for my birthday, but I'm going to go ahead and show them because they were sitting on the stack because I wanted to get to them and read them. So I got my new Archaeology magazine, the November-December issue, and I also have the issue right before this in there, and it came, it was probably a couple weeks before. So I just renewed stuff, so I'm getting multiples in to catch me up on my subscription. But you know, this one, Inside the World of the Gladiators, let's see, uncovering Europe's hidden Bronze Age civilization, China's lost kingdom, fire temples of ancient Persia, Egyptian crocodile hunters, the Tsar's prized champagne, ancient Greek paleontologists, memories of the Maya kings, and Norway's holy island. So what I like about these magazines is it looks at the most recent digs and takes you all around the world. It's not like focused on one certain area. It's all over the place. So glad to have that, and it'll be fun when I can get started dipping into that. This next one is Harper's magazine, and I got that one with it was a free subscription. They gave me a couple of choices on what I could order. How about I just open it up so I don't keep my address off of there. There we go. And Harper's, their obvious subject matter there. But I don't read a ton of Harper's, but it was of the free subscriptions that I was offered, this is the one that looked like it possibly could be the most interesting, or the one that maybe I'd enjoy the most. You ever notice that when they give you free offers for subscriptions, the choices of free magazines are not always the greatest? That's kind of the case here. But anyway, I'm not going to complain. So let me tell you about some of these other books that I got. So on my birthday, I got to go to Jackson Street Booksellers in Omaha, Nebraska. I was very excited to go there. I hadn't been there for 3 years, I think it's been, since I've been there, and I wanted to go back. I love that store. They have got such a selection of books. They've got 3 different storefronts that are the old downtown buildings that have it's kind of a narrow front to them, but then they are real long and real tall. And you go in there, the 3 buildings, they've knocked out a little doorway in the hall, or to create a hallway that connects all 3 buildings. And they've got floor to ceiling books all over the place with a real narrow walkway between all of the bookcases and stuff. And so you can spend forever in there looking. And so we went in there for, I don't know, an hour or so, and we were looking around. And of course, I am always drawn to the section that has Abraham Lincoln books. And so I found Abraham Lincoln, The Man and His Faith by G. Frederick Owen. And I don't have a copy of that. As you guys know, I have a pretty good size Lincoln collection. Nowhere near all the books. I mean, obviously there's thousands upon thousands of books on Lincoln, but I had not seen this one and didn't own it, so now I do. And obviously The Man and His Faith, so pretty obvious what it's about. It is from Tyndale House Publishers, and it's originally 1976. This is a 1984 copy. And so, like I said, very, very happy to have that nice biography that's focused around his faith. The next one I found, so when I went to Jackson Street Booksellers, I originally had a big old stack of Lincoln books. That was originally what I piled up. And I know the lady at the stand did not appreciate me very much, because I took it up there and I asked her, I said, can I leave these up here so I don't have to carry them? And she said, yeah, sure. So when I walked away to keep looking, she priced them all. little did she know that that was not my final selection. So I went through and I took back several of the Lincoln books because I had kind of a variety of other books that I found, and I wanted more of a wide variety. So she had to reprice everything. I don't think she probably appreciated that, but oh well. So this is Lexington and Conquered, the beginning of the War of the American Revolution. And as many of you know, I'm an American history teacher, and I teach the American Revolution, and I fully appreciate everything that it did and all the stuff that goes into it. And I just really enjoy reading about the American Revolution. And then, of course, the Civil War is my other favorite topic to read about. This book is by Arthur B. Tourlet? Okay, I can't say it. You can see it though. There you go. I'm not going to try. I'm going to end up butchering the name. So this is a W.W. Norton and Company out of New York, and it is 1959 originally. This copy is a 1963 copy. And so, just a basic story of Lexington and Conquered and the start of the war. It says on April 19th, 1775, British soldiers marching through Lexington en route to Concord confronted a band of Minutemen commanded by Captain John Parker. Parker had earlier ordered the militia, who were vastly outnumbered, to stay out of sight, but now they were lined up in full view on the common, and the famous shots were fired that began the American Revolution. This suspenseful book reconstructs what happened and why. And so this will just be a nice addition to my collection. I have several other books that deal with Lexington and Conquered and the beginnings of the war. So I'm imagining it might not be any new material. I probably read enough at this point that I'm not going to have new material, but that's okay because I like it. I like reading different spins on the story. So the next one that I picked up is by Anthony Beaver, World War II historian, and this is D-Day, the Battle for Normandy. And I saw this up on the shelf. It was way up. I had to go find a ladder to get up high enough to get it. But when I saw this, I got excited because, as many of you may know, Brian and Peg over at the History Shelf, we all did a read-along of Stephen Ambrose's book on D-Day, and it just whetted our appetite for reading more stuff on D-Day. And I know everybody speaks very highly of Anthony Beaver, and so I was excited when I saw that, and it didn't cost me an arm and a leg, and so it's in pretty good shape. And so I was excited when I saw it, picked it up, and I am going to be reading this one fairly soon. This is a Penguin book, and it is from the year 2009. This is a 2014 printing, it looks like. Yeah, 2014 printing. So, just a basic history on D-Day. Nothing real technical about that. So, I got my daughter saying she finished her book. She's doing a little dance over there. So I got to hurry along here so we can go read that other one. But anyway, this next book was from my mother-in-law, and she got me 4 different books for my birthday. And she got me a daily devotional, Mission Possible by Tim Tebow with A.J. Gregory. And so nice little, day-to-day devotional, get a little Bible scripture and story that goes with it, and basically how you can apply that stuff to your life. So that's always good to have. And moving through our stack here, another one from the Jackson Street bookseller. And this is The Fate of Liberty, Abraham Lincoln and Civil Liberties by Mark E. Neely Jr., winner of the 1992 Pulitzer Prize for History. Now, I don't know if that was this. Yes, it was this book. Okay, sometimes they put that on there and it's talking about just the author. But it looks like it's this book. And I was real excited to, pick this up because you're always talking about how people in high power, how they try to take away liberties, and so this just adds to the discussion. It's from Oxford University Press, 1991, out of New York, And I'll read the back of this one real fast to you. So it says, in the Pulitzer Prize winning The Fate of Liberty, Mark Neely, one of America's leading authorities on Lincoln, explores the whole range of Lincoln's constitutional policies, examining his controversial restriction of civil liberties and the abuse of power that arose under martial law. Neely depicts Lincoln's suspension of habeas corpus as a well-intentioned attempt to deal with the flood tide of unforeseeable events, from the disintegrating public order in the border states to the outcry against the first draft in U.S. history. Drawing on letters from prisoners, records of military courts and federal prisons, memoirs, and federal archives, he paints a vivid picture of how Lincoln responded to these problems, how his policies were actually executed in the virulent political debates that followed. Lincoln emerges from this account with his legendary statesmanship intact, mindful of political realities and prone to temper the sentences of military courts, concerned not with prosecuting his opponents, but with prosecuting the war efficiently. Written with keen insight and an intimate grasp of the original sources, The Fate of Liberty brings to life the crisis and the chaos of a nation at war with itself, changing our understanding of Lincoln and his most controversial policies. So looking forward to that. It's always good to see the other side of things when you're looking at historical characters. This next one is a book that I had read, but I did not own, and now I own it. I read this one, a month ago, and it is Traitor to His Class: The Privileged Life and Radical Presidency of Franklin Delano Roosevelt by H.W. Brands. And of course, H.W. Brands is one of my favorite authors, and I kept trying to find this book, but everybody wanted an arm and a leg for it. I was looking at like half-price books, and they're wanting $14-15 for it, and I don't like paying that much for a used copy. I think that's kind of ridiculous. And so I picked it up for $7.50. So still higher than I would like, especially considering, as you can see, there you go. You can see the cover and stuff's banged up just a little bit, but I was wanting the book, so I went ahead and jumped on it. But this book is from Anchor Books out of New York, and it is a 2008. This printing is 2009 book. But I was very happy to get this. This was a really good look at Franklin Roosevelt. Did an awesome job. I haven't read a ton on Roosevelt. I mean, I've read a couple, but not a bunch. And it does a really good job with his personal life. And it talked a lot about stuff that I didn't know happened. And so I learned a little bit from this book. And always good when you can learn something while you're doing your reading. Always try to pick up something from it. Now, this next book, I am tickled to death to have. It is a brand new book, just came out recently. I can't remember exactly what month it came out, but it's pretty new. And it's The Demon of Unrest by Eric Larson, a saga of hubris, heartbreak, and heroism at the dawn of the Civil War. And nice hardback edition. My mother-in-law got that for me. No. I take that back. My daughter got that for me. My oldest daughter, Crimson, got that for me. And so I was tickled to death to have this. I know there's a lot of people that have just kind of raved about this. They have had high praises. My good friend Patrice, over at her channel, she, when we Vox her back and forth, which we do, pretty often, she has talked about it. This book is just absolutely awesome. She's buddy reading it with a couple of other gals, and they love it. And so she keeps telling me, you've got to read this. You've got to read this. Patrice and I are reading David Herbert Donald's book Lincoln right now, and we're going at a nice slow steady pace so we can kind of absorb everything that we're reading. But she says they're reading this at the same time, and it's blending beautifully. And so I can't wait to dip into this. And as I've told her, I'm going to try to get this read here soon. I have a couple of these I'm going to try to get tackled. Let's see here. This book is from Half Price Books in Omaha, or no, outside of Omaha, one of the little towns outside of Omaha. But anyway, it's The Lost World by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I was super excited to read this. When did I read it? It would have been, was it 2 years ago that Mark over at Book Time with Elvis and Sean D. Standfast, they did August of Adventures. I think that was 2 years ago. Maybe it was 3. I can't remember. But they were doing this as the read along and for one of the weeks. And I had read along with them on this and absolutely loved it, but I didn't have a copy of my own. And I found a brand spanking new copy for, was it $6, I think, for a brand new copy. And I was like, okay, yes, thank you, please. May I have another? And so super excited about that. And it's about an explorer who goes in the Amazon and they end up finding dinosaurs in this lost world. And yeah, I think it was the Amazon, wasn't it? Let's see. Determined first love, ordinary reporter Edward Malone sets out in search of an adventure and danger. Before long, Malone strikes up a friendship with the short-tempered but intelligent professor, George Edward Challenger, and the two decide to embark on a life-changing expedition. The professor, Malone, and their companions voyage across oceans to distant wastelands and forests where unknown peoples, dinosaurs, and other prehistoric creatures live freely. And maybe it was just in my imagination, it sounded like the Amazon. But anyway, it was good. It was a good adventure story. All right. Another one from Jackson Street Booksellers. This is Battle at Bull Run, a history of the first major campaign of the Civil War. I don't think I've read a straight up history on just the first Battle of Bull Run. And so this will be my first. Now, I've read William C. Davis before, and I enjoy reading William C. Davis. And so I trusted him and picked this book up. But it's, basically what it says, a history of the Battle of Bull Run. And this is from Louisiana State University Press out of Baton Rouge. It's a good university press for Civil War titles. So I was trusting in that, and it's a 1977 book, but it's not too long. 200 and how many pages of text? 262 pages of text. So that won't take me all that long to get through. Another one from Jackson Street Booksellers. This is Moonlight, Abraham Lincoln and the Almanac Trial by John Evangelist Walsh. Had never heard of this book. I've heard of the court case, but not the book. And it's a really slim volume, but I was wanting to get this for my Lincoln collection, and kind of neat. Had some newspaper. I had a couple of these. I had some newspaper articles in them. And this one's from St. Martin's Press out of New York, and it is from the year 2000. But it's exactly what it says. It's a court case it was a murder trial that he used the moonlight to help, get the guy off of the murder. Anyway, or the lack thereof, I think, if I remember correctly. The guy said, if I remember right, the murder trial, the guy that was pinpointing the murderer said that I could see it plain as day because of the moonlight. And he used the almanac to prove that you wouldn't have been able to see the moonlight and you were at a distance. So he got the guy off of murder charges. Anyway, the next one, again from Jackson Street Booksellers, this is The Winter Soldiers. The Battles for Trenton and Princeton by Richard M. Ketchum. And I have a couple other books by Richard M. Ketchum, and it's in this exact same format. And I was like, yes, I will take that. That'll match up nicely. The other one, I think it's the Saratoga, if I remember. And, oh goodness, hang on a minute. I'll be able to tell you. It doesn't have his list of books. I thought it would have the list of, Decisive Day. It was Decisive Day. That's what it was. And so super excited to have that. This comes from Henry Holt and Company out of New York, and it is a 1973 book. So it's got a little bit of age, but good storyteller. And I've read Decisive Day at one point in the past. I don't know that I read the Saratoga one yet, but I know I'm pretty positive I read that Decisive Day. And I remember him being a good storyteller, but I was glad to add that to the collection. Matches the set that I already have, or the couple books I already have. But again, pretty simple, straightforward. It's about the battles of Trenton and Princeton, so crossing the Delaware. All right, as I was at Half Price Books, I wandered into the back of the store, and they had a big old clearance. Well, not big. They had a handful of shelves that was a clearance section, and they had some pretty decent books marked down to $2, and so I picked up a few of them. This one is it's called Pearl, December 7th, 1941 by Daniel Allen Butler, and I got it for $2. Nice hard copy. This is from Casemate Publishers. I know if you watch Peg's channel over at the History Shelf, she gets stuff from Casemate all the time. And so this is one of those Casemate books. It's from the year 2020. And again, all about Pearl Harbor. And so you can't go wrong when you're reading about Pearl Harbor. Now, I will say the text is a little bit small, and you got some small areas around the page, small margins. And that might be... sometimes that makes for rough reading, but I'll get through it, I promise you. But it's also got some good photographs there in the middle, a whole series of your black and whites. A lot of these are just classic black and whites. I've seen a lot of them before. But yeah, glad to add that to the collection. Nice World War II thing. We're going to be talking about that in my 7th grade class here before you know it. Probably somewhere around December 7th, actually. Well, maybe I can get to it sooner. I don't know. I can never get to things as fast as I would like to get to them. So anyway, this next one, another $2 book. This is The Founders' Fortunes, How Money Shaped the Birth of America by Willard Stern Randall. And this guy's got credit in the Bank of Ruttenberg. I know Steve Donahue always talks about authors having credit in the Bank of Steve. But he's got credit with me, and I've read a couple of his other works, and I enjoyed them. But yeah, exactly what it says, talking about the beginnings of the economy, with the money system. It's from Dutton Books, and this is a 2022 book, published book. And another great thing about these is in that markdown section, you had a bunch of used books over there. Because Half Price Books, buys books from people that bring them in. But these are brand new books. They got, you got a remainder mark, but that's not going to bother me. You look at some of my other books on my shelves, that's definitely not a problem. So continuing to go through the stack, these other 3 were from my mother-in-law, and she got me that daily devotional, and this one kind of goes along with that same theme, and this is Rescue Story, Faith, Freedom, and the Finding My Way Home by Zach Williams, and it's with Robert Noland. And yeah, just a personal story of faith in his life. Sounded interesting. I actually am probably going to use this as my next SSR read at when I'm reading at school. So just my personal reading. It's a 2024 book. So yeah. Oh, comes from, did I say, hang on. Zondervan Books. Nice thin little volume. All right, another one and this one I had asked for, and she got this off my list, and it is on Teddy Roosevelt. It's by William Elliott Hazelgrove, and it's the last charge of the Rough Rider. It's from Theodore Roosevelt's final days, and it just looked interesting. This actually came up in my Amazon feed when you look up a book, it says, if you like this, you might like these. This was one of them that came up, and I was like, oh, that does look interesting. So all about Teddy Roosevelt, the end of his life. And I'm a fan of Teddy Roosevelt, so let's see, it's a 2023 book. Again, another newer title. So thank you to my mother-in-law for that. And the last book that my mother-in-law got me is a newer book that has come out on Lincoln and Douglas, another Lincoln book. This is Edward Robert McClelland in his book, Chorus of the Union, How Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas Set Aside Their Rivalry to Save the Nation. So I'm real excited about that. I love reading about Lincoln and Douglas and their political rivalry, and and then at the end, how they came together to to work to save the nation. Comes from Pegasus Books out of New York, and again, it's a brand new book. Came out this year in June 2024. So this is another one that I'm going to try to get read here really soon. I have another video that I'm going to make on my Historathon 2024 pile of possibilities, and that one's going to be thrown on the pile, definitely. All right, so the very, very last book in this birthday celebration book haul here is The War, An Intimate History, 1941 to 1945 by Jeffrey C. Ward and Ken Burns. And so this is the companion book that goes with, I believe, with the DVD series or the documentary series that Ken Burns put together. I have another one of these on baseball, big book like this, big coffee table book, and it was awesome. I have one on, what's the other one? It's on the Civil War, I believe. That's a big old companion novel like this, and I really like them. They've got awesome pictures. Well, there's the inside of the cover there, but you just flip through and it's just got all these iconic photos, and then it's got a nice narrative that goes along with it. I thoroughly enjoyed reading through my baseball and my Civil War one, and so I'm really looking forward to digging into that. So, BookTube, that's my birthday book haul. I do have more books to show you. I have to make a couple more videos sometime. I'd like to do it sometime today, because this whole next week at school is going to be parent-teacher conferences, and I've still got physical therapy with my back, and we have our last football game, and I mean, it's like every night I get up, go to work, go to all the other things I got to go to, and then by the time I get home, it's time to go to bed. So it's going to be a really busy week, and so yeah, anyway, I got to get the videos done today. And so I know I wanted to do a video on, look forward to a video for Historathon 2024, fourth quarter pile possibilities. I'm only 3 weeks late. Sorry, guys. I also want to do another mail haul from Steve Donahue. He sent me some books a few weeks back, and I have not shown those yet just because I haven't had time to make videos. And then I've got more books upstairs from this last summer that I have not shown you yet. Oh my goodness, it's like never ending. And then also I wanted to do a weekly reads for you for like the last 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks, something like that. I've gotten a bunch of books finished here and there, and I wanted to, kind of update you on my reading and let you know where I'm at with stuff. So I have some plans. I also have some tags I got to get done. I don't know if I'm going to get to all this, but I got to get it done. So I keep telling you I'm going to, and so I need to follow through and get that done. But anyway, if you've stayed here for 33 and a half minutes, I thank you very, very much. And I hope all of you are doing very, very well. And I hope you got beautiful weather for your weekend, because I know we do. So anyway, until next time, BookTube, I hope everyone has a great reading weekend. Happy reading.